Joining me now is Westminster boys soccer coach Jim Reigel. Coach, appreciate your time here today.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Westminster won 5 in a row and 6 out of 7 matches after an 0-1-1 start, and they wrapped up the county title with a 3-0 win over rival Winters Mill back on October the 10th. The Owls went 5-1 against county opponents, and 4 of those wins were by 1 goal. And I'll ask you, Coach, how would you assess the season you guys had to win that county title?
I mean, we were resilient. I mean, I think it goes back to that Liberty game. They definitely had us with about 12 minutes to go at 3-1. Started making some adjustments from our sideline, going, okay, it's time to get some guys a different look and so forth. And then all of a sudden, a snap, and it's 3-2. And then you, as a coach, you're caught with a decision. Like, what do you do?
Right.
Like, do you go with a change? Do you let the momentum that's starting to go ride and see where it takes us?
Yeah.
That particular night, we decided to roll the dice and kind of go with where they were going. And some senior leadership stepped up, some sophomores stepped up, and we ended up pulling off that last-second victory, and I think it carried right over into South Carroll the next match. I think we slid under the radar a little bit. With 3 new coaches coming into the county, you kind of think those guys are going to rise to the occasion to meet the needs of new coaches for a new program. And things started to filter its way out, and I think what I thought was going to happen, I think Steve was able to pull off at Century towards the end, getting them to the finals, and I know Donnie made it very far at the 1A.
Semifinals, right.
To the semifinals. So I think what I was thinking was there, and I know Andy put together a game plan against us in particular, but I think they played everybody very hard in the county, which is what I was anticipating from his end, and they almost snake bit us pretty heavy.
Right. You already mentioned the balance. Let's go to the defense. 6 times your defense allowed 1 goal or fewer this fall, and that obviously goes a long way to you helping the team win a county title. How did you see that unit make progress, this fall from where you started to where you guys finished?
I think some adjustments. One of our center backs. Well, first things first. Owen was our only really true returner, and he played the same exact role last year as he did this year.
Right.
He popped into the right back, and then as attacking going forward, we kind of started him in a midfield role, and we ended up having around about time 5 fresh new starters in that mix, with a sophomore on the left side, sophomore and center back, an untested junior, and then use Owen's senior experience as the outside back, but we would pop other guys in there. Another junior, Will Donovan, filled that role. Then you had Anthony McPeak as a sophomore in goal. So we really didn't know 100% what was going to show up consistently. So to keep us within that statistic of 1 goal, sometimes when you have youth and inexperience, those 1 goals don't come in your favor. So that's a new statistic I haven't really paid attention to. So I appreciate hearing that. And we fought. They believed in where they were going, what they wanted to achieve.
Right.
And to their credit, that last game against Winters Mill to go 3-0, they bounced. They bounced back from the Century, because Century had our number. And they definitely put us away quick. And some of the bigger weaknesses we had, we didn't own our back. I think Nick put 3 goals on us. And then it penetrated 1 goal off of the run of play, but I think the other 3, I think it all came off Nick, were the set pieces, the corners and throws, and so forth.
They answered that challenge there.
Absolutely, especially with young guys filling that void. So it was good.
You mentioned other boys soccer in the county. Let's go through a couple of them. You mentioned Century. They reached the Class 2A state finals before they fell short against Damascus, but the Knights got hot in time for the playoffs, and they made that deep run. Coach mentioned Liberty. They won a regional title, first for the Lions since 2010. They won 8 games in a row to get to the 1A state semifinals. And then we also mentioned Manchester Valley, a really challenging schedule. It paid off with a 10-win season. They went 5-1 in the county, and they finished 2nd in the standings in the Carroll County Athletic League. Plenty of quality boys soccer teams, Coach, from the county this year. What did you see around the county? You've already talked a little bit about it, but just it seems competitive was the theme. Every game was something you had to plan for.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of the amount of players that are playing in club outside our immediate area. I mean, we still have our foundations of the local organizations with their select process, but guys, as they get into the get to the high school level, they start to branch out and go to the higher clubs in the metro area. And I think it comes back to the home.
It's a big deal.
And they start to contribute how they gel. Going forward, like, they all grow up. That's what's awesome is seeing the county competition is you can see which ones see each other on a regular basis. The relationships. I mean, you think 20, 30 years ago, it was like that rivalry that you're like, eh. But now it's like they want the bragging rights, but it's almost like they're the gentlemanly, the sportsmanship that you see at the higher level,
Right.
in the international level, that camaraderie exists, which is nice. Makes it a lot easier as a coach to just kind of focus on your team, issue a challenge, see
Right.
how they match it back and forth, and afterwards, you're doing more of the congratulatory shaking up versus worry about whether or not little Jimmy or Joey or want to get a piece of somebody afterwards. Like, no, boys, no, we're about shaking hands, get this job done.
Yep. Appreciate the comments. Hang tight. It's time to unveil our 3 finalists for CMSportsNet Boys Soccer Player of the Year. And you'll see on the screen who the finalists are. All 3 were vital to their team's offensive success. We're going to go alphabetically and begin with Century junior Nick McGinn. Coach already talked about him. The midfielder moved into a forward role during the season and flourished with 26 goals. That was the most in Carroll County. McGinn tore up his postseason opponents with 13 goals in 6 games. Next up is Manchester Valley senior Grant Miller. The forward set Mavericks records with 15 goals and 33 points on the season. He finished 4th on the team's all-time points list and netted the game winner in overtime to beat Century back in early October. And then lastly, we have Winters Mill senior Reed Postlethwaite. The forward led Carroll County in scoring and had 25 goals to go with 57 points. He notched a hat trick in a win over Frederick, and he netted a goal in a victory over South Carroll in early October. Coach, I'll get you quick thoughts on all 3 guys, and you can start with Nick McGinn, who you've already talked about a little bit here, and then what you saw out of him.
I mean, Nick, he has that role within Century. It's a key piece, working the state tournament, seeing how his presence was there. Damascus had to pay attention to him to see how he could rise to the occasion for that piece. As a junior, I would say he's got to be earmarked to something going forward to say, what is he going to bring now? And as I said, I reaped that benefit with Jimmy Gogol last year.
Right.
And Jimmy coming in as a junior was like, okay, I inherited this program, here we are. And then as a senior, he really rose to the occasion. So if this is what Nick's done as a junior, what is going to come next year? And it all depends on, his preparation, how Century shifts and shapes their way towards what they want to build off of this year. I mean, I think it's a pretty young team still returning. And last weekend probably leaves a taste in their mouth if they want to get back to it.
Yeah, they talked about that too.
So I think he took care of us. Their game plan was quite nice, and he executed. And that's the big piece, is a goal scorer is going to execute. Right. So he got us in the air a lot. I want to see how he does things off the floor and then the flow of the game and the natural thing. And I think if those 2 come together, he's going to be a big force.
Grant Miller, what'd you see out of him this year?
A goal scorer. I mean, striker, balls in his area. It wasn't a whole lot of dilly-dallying from what I saw. It was a quick shot, which made it, you give him a window of opportunity, he's going to execute. He's going to get that shot off versus, can I get one more touch? Can I get this defender beat? Can I break his ankles? Not worrying about that. Can I get that shot? Get it on frame. If the keeper's not ready, flat-footed, his chances are it's in the back of the net, and the damage is already done.
That's an added piece to his
game. And I know that's what he did with us, the 2 opportunities he had. Like that. Ball came played in, cut around that defender, pulled the trigger for the defense, even had a chance to shift. Goalkeeper wasn't 100% set. And he put the ball in the back, hitting the upright support in the back of our net, and put us in a hole. And we were fortunate, again, resilient, to fire away back in our own way. And then Reed
Postlethwaite,
probably the most athletic of the 3. From when I think about his lacrosse experience, think about his pace. He probably is truly the most valuable piece of the 3 programs. I know in our game, deep presence, the ball was coming in. He got a couple in. Like our McPeak made some profound saves and breakaway in that first half.
Early in the game, too.
That could have set the tone totally different for us. But that athleticism with the lacrosse. Kind of like that quick speed, north-south. If you don't adjust and give too much gap, allow him to kind of attack at you.
He's going to get behind you.
He's going to get behind you, and then problems are going to come. So I think Winters Mill needed him the most. So probably from a program perspective, he might be the one that gets the tip of the cap.
In-depth as always. Coach Jim Reigel, thanks again for your time, and congrats on the county championship season.
Much appreciated. Thank you.
Want more local sports coverage? Be sure to like us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel.